let me provide a synopsis of the statistics relating to murders and firearms that have been provided to me by the Barbados Police Service. This is not a numbers exercise, but it is important that you understand what we're dealing with as a whole. I start with murders. In 2017, we had 30 murders. 23 of that 30 was by use of firearms. In 2018, we had 28 murders. 18 of those were by use of firearms. In 2019, we had a whopping 48 murders, and 30 of those were by use of firearms. In 2020, we began to see some decline. We had 41 murders, 26 by use of firearms. Last year, 2021, we had 32 murders, 17 of those were by firearms. So far for the year, we've had 17 murders, and 12 of those murders were by use of firearms. But it's important, as we talk about the murders that we've suffered as a country, that we connect this to what the police force and how the police force has been dealing with it. So I want to speak briefly about what the police officers call their clearance rate. And I think the title will help you to immediately understand what we're talking about. And to go back to the same 2017. In 2017, of those 30 murders, 16 have been solved so far. In 2019, of the 28 murders, 19 have been solved. That 19 amounts to 68%. In 2019, 27 of the 48 murders reported were solved. That's 56%. Of the 41 murders committed in 2020, 26 or 63% have been solved. In 2021, 23 or 72% of the 32 murders were solved. And for this year, of the 17 murders thus far, 10 have been cleared up. And some of those have only happened in the last few weeks. And I'm informed by our statisticians that the clearance rates that I've just indicated to you compare very favorably with rates in the developed world, in countries that have far, far more resources available to them than we do. Your numbers are few. The people of Barbados are many. You cannot and will not win. You will not be allowed to drive Barbadians into their homes and away from their normal pursuits out of some fear that you have our streets and our communities hijacked with guns. You few villains will not be allowed to make any further inroads into our communities. You will not be allowed to take over our streets. You will not be allowed to disrupt our daily lives and our livelihood.
My first message I must say is that violence, especially firearm-enabled violence, will not be tolerated. And that is the message I would like to send to those persons who are out there in possession of firearms. It is not the Barbadian way of life. It was never the Barbadian culture. So I want to re-emphasize that message, that wherever those guns are, the members of the Barbados Police Service be out and about taking those weapons out of those persons' hands.